What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today, ZBCN. It is the 12th day of November, and here we are sitting at about $0.0034 with 8 hours and 13 minutes left in the day. We've pulled back a little bit, and this was more or less to be expected. We've anticipated that we could see prices drop down to 0.0033 or somewhere thereabouts. You know, looking at it like this, with this low right here, it is possible that we're getting set up for some kind of inverse head and shoulders look. It is possible, right? I know that this high isn't high enough, but we could find the low first, come up here, find resistance, and then with that kind of look, we would have this inverse head and shoulders kind of outlined. I think it'd be perfect. We don't have to have an inverse head and shoulders to turn around, but I'm just saying it's just a thought in my head. At any rate, here we are moving down, and it's nothing to worry about, right? We're just pulling back off of the pump that we had on the 10th of November there. If we're looking at the 1 hour time frame, zooming in here, by the way, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. I don't know if I said that or not. It's completely fine if we find support right here. We take a low to a high, and I would more or less think that we do go down to about 0.0336 or lower, or maybe even just a little bit lower than that. It's very common with the 382, especially in choppy conditions like this. It's very common to wick a little bit below there. Okay, instead of finding support right at that level, you might wick a little bit below there. So something just below 0.0336 might be coming our way. We could go as low. Again, I think that's not what I meant to do. We could go as low as this level here, and I think be fine. 0.0324. Prior resistance, prior support back there, of course, prior resistance right there. I think that would be the level that we'd want to hold, the 0.5 here at 0.0324. You want to hold that, okay? I don't know if we go that low, and at this point in time, I must admit, I'm a little bit more considerate of this 0.0336 level or 0.033, something around there, just below the 382, whatever. Find support and then move up, but anything can happen, and it's best to be prepared for any outcome, right? We could even go lower than that, but I really doubt that we're going to go too much below this low, if at all, and I'd very much doubt that we go below the 0.5 if we do go below this low. Looking at the 1 hour indicators, the RSI is in a downtrend. We do have lower lows and lower highs. Typically, these downtrends, lower highs, lower lows, whatever. I can't draw a straight line to save my life, but you can see it, right? Typically, these downtrends end in the oversold zone. Lower lows, lower highs, you had a downtrend there in the oversold zone, and it's very common to see bullish divergence at the end of these downtrends. You don't need it. It doesn't need to be there, right? It's just like we typically see bearish divergence at the end of these uptrends, but this one here, you didn't have it there. You dropped off, right? It doesn't need to happen, but we likely do go a little bit lower, maybe form some bullish divergence, and then soon enough we'll break out, right? It's the 1 hour time frame, so here the idea of going lower shouldn't really concern you. It's the fact that we are very mature in this downtrend that we are about to break out. That's what should concern you, because we're about to see some upside, okay? It is the 12th today. The 12th ends here, so with the amount of time we have left in the day, maybe we don't start moving up yet, but I would expect tomorrow, Thursday, to be a day of recovery where we do start moving up higher, okay? Stochastics are bearish, and the MACD is also bearish, but you do have bullish divergence building. You actually have bullish divergence building from this point all the way down, so that's not a bad look right there either. Looking at the 4 hour time frame here, again, finding support at prior resistance, prior support, not a bad thing. We can afford to go lower. Is this the low? I don't think it is. I think we go just a little bit lower. It's really uncommon to find support just above the 382, but it happens. It happens. I mean, that could be where we find support, is right here, but I do think that we'll find support right around here, a little bit lower, so slightly lower prices, and I think the 1 hour time frame agrees with that thought, right? We look at the RSI on the 4 hour time frame, and we do have a higher low, higher high trend here as well, right? We've broken out of that just a little bit with this candle. 9 minutes, 35 seconds left. It seems as though we will break out of it, but overall, I mean, if we're holding higher lows or at least holding support somewhere around this 40 area, I'm not really worried about the price at all. It's fine. It's not ideal to break out of an uptrend, but it happens. I mean, here, let's see. Right? I guess kind of here. Did you? You kind of broke out of this trend here, right? You broke out of that trend and you still went higher afterwards. So it's not a detriment. As long as you're finding support at areas that make sense, like the 50 or the 40, I think that you're fine. 4 hour stochastics are at the oversold zone. You could bounce from here, but again, going a little bit lower wouldn't hurt either. You don't typically bounce right off the oversold zone on the 4 hour time frame. It looks like you'd like to get oversold, so I would think a little bit lower is called for, more than called for. And the RSI, we already went over that. The MACD, Did have bearish divergence, actually. We had some bearish divergence here. We're seeing that play out now. We've crossed red overall in a very bullish posturing, but again, we could go lower and still maintain this bullish posturing. So prepare yourselves for slightly lower prices. We're at 0034. We're thinking 00336 to 0033. If I'm wrong, maybe we go down as low as 00324. But that'd be the lowest that I think we go to. Soon enough, and maybe, and when I say soon enough, I mean like tomorrow, Thursday, we should be on the road to recovery. We should be moving up higher and likely on our way to prices that are at 0046 to 005, somewhere in here. That's our next kind of target destination. It will seem as though it's a lower high throughout this whole range, but really I think that'll be a breakout of this range. We'll consolidate, we'll do our thing, and then we'll really get set up to break out, not just out of this range, but out of this range that we've been in since May. Whenever it comes to breaking out of this range, my expectation is, and has been for a very long time, that we will see prices well above 2 cents. We'll probably go even above 4 cents if I'm right in assuming this. Sorry, guys. I've got to clear out my throat. 4.5 cents is the kind of target area that I'm assuming that we'll see is somewhere around here, between there and 8 cents, up in that area. I'm more thoughtful of this 6.2 to 4.5 cent area personally. It is possible that we could stop at 3 cents. It is possible that we go up to 8 cents, but I'm more considerate of this orange line here and this red line than anything else. That's the expectation, and again, that's derived from our fib extensions, but also from our prior move here back in April to May. If we saw a move that was similar to this move, we would at least go to 3 cents. And I think that we're not just going to see a move that's similar to this move, but a move that is larger than that move. So my thoughts are, if we're going to see a move that's larger, what's the next fib that makes sense? 4.5 cents makes sense. Are we going to see a move that's dramatically larger? Are we going to go all the way up to here? Maybe. But I really am in favor of this 4.5 cent area. If not there, somewhere between there and about 6.2 cents. But I don't have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said everything I need to say. If you liked the video, hit the like button, please, and thank you. Thank you all for being here. I do want to look at the ribbons real quick. I don't think we've looked at the ribbons for a second with ZBCN here. Yeah, the daily ribbon. So we pushed up into it here and found a little turbulence. That's what it is, right? You rejected, you literally, the tip of this wick is literally at the top of that ribbon. So we're rejecting. What we're looking for is not a harsh rejection, just something like this where we kind of hang out in this area and then we look like we are going to flip this and break this out, right? It'll be a big deal, I think, to see prices above on a daily closing basis above 0038. Okay, getting a day to close above 0038 I think will be a big deal. The first big deal amidst many big deals that will come as we continue to grow. Looking at the weekly ribbon, if it'll let me. Weekly ribbon here, bullish, very bullish. Typically, again, whenever you find support here, that's great, but if you're living in it, you might cross. What you're looking for is you want to find support below the ribbon, which we absolutely did. Now the goal on a weekly time frame would be to get a week to close above 00382. Get a week to close and a day to close above like 0038, 00382. If you can close above there on a weekly time frame and daily time frame, that would actually be awesome. That'd be very implicative that we're about to see this ribbon stop contracting and start to expand. And when we're expanding, we typically do good things. Typically. I don't have anything else. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.